Counselor Accents Podcast. Two school counselors who love their jobs. Oh, and they happen to have Southern accents too. Bless their hearts.
I'm Laura Rancorn.
And I am Kim Crumley. And together we are Counselor Accents, two school counselors who are in the trenches with you.
We know what you're going through because we're living it every single day.
Look at these little guys.
Well, that's what you get after you take a really strong winter's nap.
That's the Sunday nap, and you've had your Sunday nap too.
I have.
But you know what? We need it. We
Yeah.
need those naps. And it's because of what we're going to talk about today, Laura.
Yep. My Sunday nap was so good that I woke up not knowing what day it was, not knowing where I was.
Yes.
I didn't know, oh my goodness, am I late for work? And then I couldn't see straight, so I've had to put my glasses on because I can't even see. That's how good it was.
You were in a comatose situation.
It was so good. I put my electric blanket up on me. Oh, I did. It was good. And I'm in like pajama pants. I get full on
pajama.
pajama.
If anybody were a hibernating bear, if that was your spirit animal, it'd be the hibernating bear.
You're right.
I mean, you are you are always going to have the blank. It doesn't matter if it's 90 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've
That's
tried
right.
to get me to do that. You know, I don't do that well. But I hate to keep Evieing this up, which was my grandmother that was never well a day in her life. I hate to keep Evieing this up, but I'm still not well. Still not well, Laura. You've had strep and got over it since I've been sick.
Well, I've got bad news about the strep. And you warned me, and I didn't heed your warning. So I don't know if we've talked about this, but I did have strep. It was the first time in 4 years that I've been sick outside of an organ removal and or food poisoning. So the first time of any like
Contagion.
Yes.
Pardon the pun. You'll understand why in a little bit.
So I thought it was just seasonal drainage. Hate to use the word drainage, but I just thought it was seasonal, what's blooming right now.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't too concerned about it until my tonsils were like rubbing together, overlapping, basically. And I couldn't even swallow water. It was so awful. So I went to the doctor. It was strep. And I keep antibiotics on hand from way back like 1992 when I had chicken pox or whatever. I don't know. And you know this about me, but I always have a good antibiotic I can pop. And so I had taken a couple and it went away.
Yes.
And then it came back. And that's when I went to the doctor. She gave me a different antibiotic, something that the newfangled doctors are using now that's not from 1992.
And those they banned in every country.
So I took 2 days worth.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my goodness, I am 100%. I feel so much better. And it wasn't so much that I wasn't heeding your warning. It's just, it's cumbersome to take them every 12 hours. How do you do that? How do you take them every 12 hours? Like, I hate to sound like I'm 75 years old, but my thyroid pill, I've got to take it at nighttime.
Yeah.
Really not supposed to take it with any other kind of medication.
So you quit taking it and you got sick again.
Yes, I did. And so I'm back on it, except I forgot to take it today.
That your tonsils rot out of your throat and you learn your lesson from this.
What a thing to say.
Taste
your words. Taste your words.
I told you before, I said it's dangerous. It can be dangerous. Finish the antibiotic.
And I said, I will, Kim. I will. This time, I promise. I will.
Yes. I don't.
It's the time. If they could do a more convenient schedule for my
You have made me red brain right now. I'm so angry right now with you. But anyway, yes, I am trying to get well. I am doing all the right things, and bless my heart, I just can't get over it.
So but you have had this for a month because I was thinking it's past a month. I was thinking back the other day because my principal told me that I was ugly to you on the phone.
I did not know that. Yeah.
When you called me and asked me, but now 90% of the time she talks about how ugly you are to me. But this one time she said I was ugly.
Me asking you to bring me food?
Yes, it wasn't the food. I was glad to bring you the food. It was whenever it was the day you had gone back to the doctor. And I was treating you the way you were just treating me. Because I was saying, I said, see, I told you whenever you said you'd gone to the doctor, they gave you an antibiotic, you had an ear infection.
Yes, but if you think that I would like to retell this story. So
yeah, go ahead.
I am at school. I've gone to the doctor again. I'm at school. I go to the doctor. That's right there by our school, and I have an ear infection. And I feel horrible. This was Friday. And so anyway, I call you because I'm going to be at school till about 9:00. So we have a dance. I'm not leaving. I'm going to be there. I'm sick. And you were like, what? What do you want? There's nothing on my way home. I'll pull into Jack's. What do you want? And I'm like, did that even deter me from saying never mind? No, I said, I'm sorry. You are going to stop and get me something.
That is not how I remembered the conversation. I remembered it more like this. You had been telling me for weeks still that you were sick, and I had been saying, get an antibiotic. You need an antibiotic. I'll bring you one from 1992. Go get an antibiotic. Mm-hmm. And you had not found the time to go do it. But I was concerned about you, as concerned as you were about me. And so I was saying, go, you've got an ear infection, all this stuff. And then you finally went, and I was saying, I knew it. I could have told you that. I knew it. And then about the bringing you food, I do go the way I go home, I only pass one place. But then I wasn't thinking I could have gone a different way home. And I called you and said, hey.
Very too. And your principal heard you.
But she was not, she was more about the way I was reacting to your ear infection. It wasn't the food, it was the ear infection. But I did call you from the car and I said, hey, I don't know what I was thinking. I can go a different way.
You're being such a butt. I was whatever you want. And I was videoing.
I'm taking all this out. I'm editing it all
out.
No,
I went all in. And I was videoing like you coming up because I was hoping so bad you were still mad and like going to throw
I'm not mad that I had to bring you food.
But it would have been so funny because I had led up to this video like, here she comes. She's so angry because she's had to stop and get me food. Watch.
And then you
was like, hey.
I was glad to bring you food.
It didn't matter. I still wanted the food. I got the food.
Well,
you know what this is? You know what this is?
What?
This is our end of the year stress, which is what we're going to talk about today.
Are right. We're feeling it and we're displaying it for our listeners.
Yes. And I was doing it on purpose.
And sing.
So we're actually going to talk about a little phenomena. Is it phenomenon? Phenomenon. Phenomenon. Phenomenon.
Now we have to pay Sesame Street for that. Thank you. Now we have to pay them royalties.
I don't know if they'll recognize it. So say it for me.
Phenomenon?
Phenomenon.
I'm adding an N on the end. Phenomenon.
I'm saying phenomenon.
Okay. You say phenomenon. I say phenomenon.
Tomato. So we're going to talk about what happens this time of year, and it is called the stress contagion.
Which I love the name of that. I've never heard that before, but if anything was ever contagious, it's stress.
It is stress, and research proves this point. But come on, I mean, do we really have to have the research? When you are around people who are stressed, you can't help but feel whatever they're putting out, and you pick up.
It's in the air. Like to get strep, I had to lick handrails and drink after people to get a day off with strep. But the stress contagion, you can just be in the same room as somebody, and it
is out there. And we talked about doing this podcast a while back because we knew it was coming, and you had even had a conversation with people. Okay, this is what this is. This is coming. And I had not really started to see it until the next day when one of the sweetest teachers came in and you could just feel it rolling off of her. And I am like, I don't know that I've ever seen you in a bad mood. But you would think with spring coming, with you know, warmer temperatures, everything in bloom where we are, that we would be happier. But it really, every year we go through this where stress levels are high, and we tend to spread that wherever we go. So
I am
that's in our verbal communications or nonverbal. However, we're displaying that other people are picking up on it.
Yeah. And I'm curious because our school year starts at a different time than people like up in the Northeast and stuff. So I'm wondering if their stress contagion starts now in the March months, March, April, or if it's more like April, May. So I'm curious. So if you're from the Northeast, let us know, because I'd love to know if it's universally March or what. But
I would love to know that too.
yeah,
I think it's that stretch to the end of the year, and for us, it's now.
we're close.
And
Yeah.
for those, it's a little bit closer, but it's also the kids are antsy, and again, it's warmer here, so that's interesting. How would that look if you're up, where it's not quite as warm? Is it the kids feeling that antsy? Let's get out. Let's get out. We're ready to get out. We feel the spring is in the air. But it's also, as we're stretching into that, how productive were we this year? That
Yeah.
stress to get all of your standards in, that stress to, to show what you know on those tests that everybody's under the gun for. So, I mean, for this happens every year,
Yeah.
but I think knowing it's going to happen ahead of time, and being prepared for that. And that's what we're going to talk about today is this, as our school year starts to draw to a close, what can we do? People are burnt out, Laura. They're exhausted. What do we do? It's common, it's normal, but it's just knowing this is common and normal enough.
Well, and just to reiterate what you're saying, if you're a new counselor and you're not prepared for this, let this episode just be kind of a warning that this is coming. Brace yourself. We're going to give you some tips. If you have been a counselor and your year has been great, brace yourself, because if you've forgotten, this happens every year. I have said in other episodes, and I've said to other people, that every year in May, I want to write myself a note reminding myself that this time of year, things go off the rails a little bit. You're going to feel that tension and that stress from the other teachers, from the students.
You're gonna you have to be careful because you can absorb that.
Yep.
And some of the people that you never think would do or say anything out of the way, this is the time of year that right now I'm thinking of 4 different teachers 4 different situations where I'm like, what happened to you and who's taking over your body?
Yeah. So the temptation to get your feelings hurt is going to be very strong this time of year. You're going to have to put up a guard and just kind of remind yourself that it's not you, that the things that people are saying are not directed at you most of the time. And just try not to take things personally. And we always say be a thermostat and not the thermometer. And so I think as school counselors, people look to us, maybe even unknowingly, they look to us to sort of regulate the temperature in the room and bring that calm to the March Madness.
Oh, good. You're just throwing these words out, and I'm super impressed. Let me say that I think for school counselors, because we have such empathy, I think that we really can feel it because we feel like we're the fixers, and other people think we're the fixers, and so they will come to us when they won't go to maybe the administrator and gripe and complain, or
Yeah.
they will to us. And so a lot of times we are the ones who take that, and that's fine
true.
if we're prepared for that. and
That's
if
a
we're
good
ready
point.
for that.
And in a lot of cases, we, in our role, are close to the administrator, and people know that. And if they may tell us, so we can get bogged down because they may tell us thinking that we will be the change agent and take it to the administrator. So just watch yourself and don't get bogged down.
Absolutely. And that absolutely goes into the first one, which is, not getting bogged down this time of year. And
Hmm.
that is to set boundaries.
Very true. So, how would you suggest that you start setting boundaries
Well, I
now?
think that now is not the time to overextend yourself. Now is the time to take what you've already taken on and finish those through. So, if there's, right now your energy is going to, you've got to prioritize your task. We're too having to finish up 504s. We're too often in the BTCs. We're too still doing all the other things that we're doing as school counselors. So don't take anything else on. Say no to any other commitments or responsibilities, and guard your own exhaustion level, because often we're the gatekeeper of everybody's social and emotional. We don't. Now's our time. Now is the time for us to set those boundaries for ourselves, so that you can't help other people if there's nothing left of yourself.
Let Florence Nightingale be the
Let
lesson
Florence
on.
be the litmus for that. I mean,
Yeah.
she went to bed at what, age 36, and laid there till she was 100. I don't really know what age, but it's a very interesting story. She gave herself out.
Yeah.
Very
And
good.
I don't know why I keep thinking about new counselors, but maybe just because I wish that somebody had told me that March was coming whenever I was a brand new counselor, because I was
Yes.
not prepared. So my mind goes to the new counselors. And I know that sometimes you have that mindset, or maybe you're in a new school and you have that mindset that you want to please,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
want to do all the things. And I think this is so important to know that now is not the time to try to impress. Now is the time to finish the race well, and really just wrap up those things like you were saying. So don't feel the pressure to start a small group right now. Don't feel the pressure to take on those tasks just because somebody else is asking you to.
There's enough on your plate with what you have to do,
Hmm.
especially, you're getting scholarships, you're writing letters of recommendation, and even some of that you have to guard. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just, there is not enough of us this time of year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So the second one I would say is reflect on your achievements. We have accomplished a lot. And I think not we, I'm saying collectively, like our listeners,
Yes.
think about yourself. Like we all have accomplished a lot this year. And we're our own worst critics. I think I say that every day because it's so easy to focus on what we didn't get done, what we didn't accomplish, that we lose sight of all of the students that we did help or all of the small groups that we did run. So I would say take some time to just think about those accomplishments that you've done throughout the school year.
Yeah, we can look at our year. We can look at our year calendar hanging on our wall,
Hmm.
and we can see those goals that we had, and it can be very frustrating to say, "I meant to be here." And I think every good school counselor has lofty goals, and we wanted to be here, and maybe we feel like, and I think teachers feel this way too. We're optimistic we're going to be here, and maybe we didn't accomplish everything, but look at what you have accomplished. So no matter how small those successes are, reflect on that, and that will help you get through this year and say, hey, at least, I may have not done all of these things, but look at what I did do.
I think that's so good. And if you use a use of time analysis tool like SCUDA or whatever else is out there, run some of those reports and look at how you've used your time because you've been busy and maybe you've been so busy that you haven't been able to put your data into a use of time analysis tool. But just seeing that you accomplished a lot this year, we're not saying look at did your kids actually start using those coping skills. You have talked to the kids. It's not up to you to make them do these things, but you talk to them, and that is That's a lot.
Yeah. So, Laura, on this next one, I'm going to call it recharge yourself. So
Okay.
we just said don't start anything new, and I'm not talking about that. And we're, you and I laugh at how how many times do we hear now self care?
Yeah.
We heard that so much over COVID years that if we ever hear it again, but really it is important to do things you enjoy right now. I mean, get outside and walk or,
I will not
just
be doing that.
completely not for you, but for other people.
Well, I did it
But
last week.
okay,
Let
that
me
one
just
time.
interject here and
Okay.
say I was trying to be more like you, and I
You
walked
did,
out.
you were like texting me going, I hear the birds singing. You
Yes.
must have been home, Edison. And I'm like, I was crying. I was thanking the Lord that you were actually looking around you and enjoying nature.
Well,
And then it
here's the
went
thing.
south.
From
Okay.
my I wanted to call it my hospital room, but I was afraid people would be concerned. It wasn't a hospital, it was my bedroom. From my
Right.
bedroom window, I could look out and I saw in our backyard a beautiful pond, and I could hear the frogs, and I had to turn off the TV because I was thinking, these frogs sound so beautiful and it sounds like summer. And I was just inspired. So one day this week, I thought, we're going to walk down to the pond. So I took the girls and myself. We went down to the pond. Turns out it is not a pond. It's more like a cesspool swamp runoff from the property behind us. I had on leggings and a sweatshirt, and any part of my body that was not covered has mosquito bites on it. Like I'm sitting right here clawing at my foot now as we are doing this podcast. So I'm just
I had yellow fever.
strep. It was malaria. But I think that I will just enjoy the view from my window now and not actually get outside, but I will purpose in my heart to look out the window.
That it just goes bad for you. When you step outside, it just goes bad for you. Speaking of which, one of my favorite pastors from my past just got bit by a copperhead.
Oh my goodness. Well, and see, the whole time we were walking down there are these hidey holes and like grass that is bulked up. I don't know what you call it. So the whole time I was nervous as a cat, thinking there's going to be a snake that is going to rear its head out from under these things, and all three of us are going to get bitten, and they're going to find our bodies out here.
Oh,
So nature is not the renewal and recharge for me.
For everybody.
Yeah.
It's not for you. Certainly it's not for you. I'm going to go with that. I'm gonna let you have that one.
Okay. I'm
So
sorry
you
to project.
find a creative hobby. You do
Yeah.
something creative and turn the work off when the work's off so that you can be recharged.
That's good.
But,
I love
yeah.
That's why, like, I've got a commute to my school now,
You do.
but
You do.
I love that time.
You do.
People think that I'm crazy because I left a 3-minute commute for almost an hour commute, but I love that time. I missed that time. And so I've got a good audiobook that I try to save only for my commute.
Right.
And so that is my recharge time.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that for you.
And an audiobook doesn't give me mosquito bites. Never
No,
once. Has it?
Not once. Well, if anything you get from this podcast is do not get out and exercise or breathe fresh air. Stay in your car. Oh, okay. While you were talking, I know what it was. So the other day, I was sitting outside in the car. It was cold. And I was sitting out in the car talking to you. And a red bird, you were talking to me when the red bird ran into the window. And I thought that's so strange. It's like, it was this beautiful red bird. So I came in the house and I come into this back bedroom. It is trying to it keeps just bumping in to the window trying to get in. I don't know what it's doing. Somebody told me it was mating season and it's looking for a mate.
It's got its eyes set on you.
Oh, that's what it was. Yep. That's what it was.
This took a turn.
All right. So the next one is you don't have to do everything yourself, Laura. Sometimes you just give those tasks to somebody else to do.
Tell me how to do this. Teach me how to do this. I am not good at this. So give me your best advice on delegating.
Okay. I'm going to give you one right this second. So this is happening this week. So 2 things. I've got to make a video about our school. So I called and begged for the professional to come do it, and I used my whiny voice to say, because I didn't want to do it. I'm not going to do it well. And so I used my whiny voice to say, now you know that teachers don't make any money. We don't have any money. So he's coming to do it. That's this next week, which something I had to do. And then I want the hallways decorated for testing because we're doing the Flamazing lesson. Check it out on TPT. And so I wanted my hallways decorated. So I got some parents to do it for me who are artists. And so that's something I don't have to. I am the queen of delegating. I am the queen of finding somebody else that's good at something to come in and use their talents. So don't be afraid to do that. You don't have to do everything.
Well, and I can just imagine those parents that are the artistic people.
Yeah.
They probably feel so valued and seen, and you are really killing two red birds with one stone, because you're delegating your own tasks, but you're also really seeing the gift that they have. And most people throughout the years have been, I would say all people, when asked to serve in the school, have been so grateful for the opportunity to come in.
Yeah, I think we just don't use that enough.
Yeah, you're right.
And I think just seeing what others are good at and the talents others have, just because it's under us doesn't mean that we're the ones who actually have to make that happen. So things need to happen, but there are tasks that we can delegate. So look for those, and that's going to save you some time.
Love it.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Number 5 is, okay, before I do that, I do want to say that this semester I got a student aide. We had a student that needed a schedule filler, and so she's my aide. And so I've struggled with, okay, what can I really have her do? Because so much of what
it's so hard.
do is confidential.
Yeah.
But testing season is coming up, and again, I can't let her touch testing materials. But I had her sitting in the room and going through pencils and sharpening pencils. And I just sat there for a second as I listened to her sharpening pencil after pencil. And I thought, I'm so proud of myself for asking her to do this. And that's one thing that I don't have to do. So
absolutely,
I did see the power in delegating last week.
Good. Yeah. I am so proud of you. And speaking of sharpening pencils and getting everything together, staying organized. I know that disorganization can bring so much frustration and stress.
Why did you take that from me? I was about to go into the next one, and
I just felt like you went on and on about the pencils, and I'm like, it's my turn.
You've done this makes 3 now that you've done.
Who's counting? I'm trying to delegate and take this off of you.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm trying to do for you?
Yes, thank you.
And when it comes to organization, Laura, think about it. You think in your own heart, who needs to be talking about this?
Okay.
You know, in your own heart, who needs to. Again, how frustrating is it when we're not organized, Laura? How frustrating is that?
Oh, so frustrating.
You're supposed to say, I have no idea. I'm not organized.
I'm not going to know so much. Keep on talking.
But yes, it is taking that time to get all of your stuff in order. It can actually save time on the back end, right?
Yeah. And I know testing is so heavy on our hearts right now because it is so close to us. But I went through the other day, and you and I both have a different system on color coding, but I am ready. Like, my stuff is ready. If we had to do it tomorrow, I'm ready. And I can't tell you what that has taken off of my shoulders to know that it's ready to go.
Yeah. I think I've been more intentional this year. I think last year I was the least organized. It went fine. Mm-hmm. Every child got tested. It was just a little bit more stressful. So I thought this year I went ahead at the end of last year and ordered all color coded every grade, because I have I'll be testing 2 through 8. So every grade is color coded. And I had ordered everything I needed because I thought I will not do this again. I will be more put together, and I have been. So I've gotten everything, and I've enjoyed doing it. There's a little bit of a creative process that I've put with it to make it a little bit more enjoyable. But that's with everything at the end of the school year. It's letters of recommendation, it's college applications, it's scholarships, all those things, as much organization as you can put into that as possible. And then, like we did last year, what worked well, what didn't work well. And we're going to talk about that in just a second.
Well, let me also say with organization, I can't remember where I read this a couple of days ago, but it was talking about like feeling organized, and we feel the stress so much because we have an unending list of an unending to-do list. It's like we will have a list of 10 things. We mark one thing off and it's replaced with 3 things. And so I read the other day that you
It's
should.
like oatmeal. It's like oatmeal.
Yeah, it just
You
keeps
take a bite of
going.
oatmeal, it just puffs up more.
Yeah. But to like verbally like vocalize what you're needing to organize, like organize your thoughts. And it was talking about like verbalize what's making you feel stressed. Because when you get those thoughts out, then you can organize those thoughts in a way. Like, I'm feeling stressed about the end of the year. I'm feeling stressed about my kids not having a place to go for spring break. I'm stressed about, and it's almost like you can compartmentalize or sort through some of those thoughts. And I just thought that sounds like a good exercise to do.
Yes, that's a good rubber meets the road. Thank you.
Yeah. Yep. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do you want to just continue giving the tips, or do you want me to actually say one?
May I do the next one, and then I will give the best to you. Thank you.
Yes.
So, this is a rubber meets the road. We're going to talk about reaching out to other educators and that, like having that other school counselors, to have that camaraderie to share, the challenges that you face at the end of the year when a teacher goes off on you, or you get bit by, when I say bit, not physically bit, but the little, rude, sarcastic people saying out of character behavior. It's good to have that friend that you can say, oh my gosh, you would not believe what was said. Okay, we know what this is. It's the end of the school year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you and I have that with one another. But a rubber meets the road that I want to share is with this year with my colleagues, with my school. We are meeting Tuesday for a training coming up, and I will actually, and I don't know when this will air or whatever, so it's probably going to be over by the time this comes out, but actually meet with teachers to say these things. Hey guys, you're feeling stressed. I'm going to give them ideas and talk to them about, let's not spread this. Let's do our best to know what this is and rise above it. So I think everybody knows what it is, but we don't talk about it like we're doing with each other. So I really want to connect with my colleagues and say, hey guys, we know this is coming. What can we do for each other to avoid this? How can we show kindness when we don't want to?
Good.
I think I'm seeing some behaviors that we wouldn't usually see. So let's stop it and let's, call each other out and just have a really real, if you can do that with your school, it may be a good time. And however that would work for you, it may just be to offer support and say, hey, this can be a stressful time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good rubber meets the road that I fully intend to address. I think we just need to address it.
That's good. Yeah, really talking about the elephant in the room before the elephant gets in the room.
Yes, or if the elephant's already there, let's shoot the elephant, drag the elephant out and say, do not come back into this school building.
That's good. All
I'll
right.
let you know how that goes.
Yeah. So the next one is to set realistic goals. And we touched on this a little bit ago, but the school year is coming to an end. So think about those larger tasks and how can you break them into small, more manageable steps? And, think about priorities. How do you prioritize those based on importance and urgency? And we've talked before about the Eisenhower matrix that I love to use, which divides up your tasks into 4 quadrants of urgent and important. And since those are time sensitive and they carry a lot of importance, you're going to want to tackle those first. Then you have tasks that are urgent but not important. And so since those are time sensitive, you may want to tackle those next. Then you have those that are not urgent but they're important, like thank you notes. Speaking of which, I have some Christmas thank you notes that still need to be sent out. And then you have some that are not urgent and not important. And so when you really start to think about what needs to be accomplished and you prioritize them, that's going to help you feel more organized. And that's going to help you see what you need to spend time on. Because how many times do we go down a rabbit hole? And I think you and I are notorious for, we'll have something looming over our heads and you and I are at Burlington shopping.
Right.
Because we've got to get an outfit for ASCA this summer.
Right.
Or whatever. So
I think that's a common thing. It's a coping thing. Like, you've got all this stuff to do. So we call it Burlington.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter what, I'll pick up a pack of crayons and just start coloring on the wall. Come on.
Yeah.
You got things to do, but I just, it's easier to just play or to.
Yep. Anything else on that?
I think when you go Eisenhower on me, I am
what else
blown
can
away.
You say? I know.
And what else can I say?
Yeah. So the next one, I'm taking the next one too, since
I gave them all to you.
Okay. Well, it's not as much fun if you gave them to me. But anyway.
Well, that's why.
Number 8 is plan for transition. And we're talking about the next school year. As you wrap up the one school year, start thinking about next school year. And there are 2 rubber meets the roads that I want to give you for this. First is, now this is something that I have done all through the year, but this would be a good time as the school year winds down. I have a binder, and every time I do any kind of event or anything that is notable that I know happens every year, I print out everything that I've done with that task. Like if we go on a field trip, then I print out every student roster. I print out every piece of information that goes home, every email communication between the teachers. I print out everything that has to do with any task and put it in a binder separated by months. And my principal will tell me, hey, add this in the binder to make this change for next year. And so I've got this running list. So next year I can look in August and see what all did we do in August. So in July, I know and I'm prepared for what's coming up in August, and I know what changes we wanted to make. So if you haven't done that yet, this is a great time of year to really look back at your calendar and think, okay, what did we do in August? What are we going to have to repeat next year? And start thinking about some of those changes that you wanted to make.
That's good. Yeah. What didn't work well?
Yeah.
Because you'll forget.
Yeah. The second rubber meets the road that I like to give you here is my principal and I have had some conversations with the principal at the school that feeds into our school. And we've been talking about some of the student issues that may be coming up next year and what we need to be prepared for. So I'm actually sneaking this one in.
Okay.
So I've got another one after this. But I would say have those conversations now. Start talking to the people at the school that feeds into your school. Or if you are the primary school, then just start preparing, I guess. But those conversations are very helpful. Like what do we need to be prepared for next year? So then that third rubber meets the road is we're starting to practice now. We know some of the challenges that are coming to us. So we are practicing now. Like I am creating some spreadsheets that our teachers are going to start using to monitor and measure different things. We're going to start using it on our students now to see how it's working. And then just some like getting from point A to point B, we're putting those into practice now in preparation for what we're going to be doing next year, if that makes sense.
It does. Yeah, it does. I think by getting a taste of something at the end of the year, you certainly are ready. You've got it on your mind and ready to go for the next year. So those are some really good pointers.
Well, and with the end of the year, sometimes, not everywhere, maybe, I don't know, but sometimes student behavior can get wild because they're antsy
Mhm.
and teachers are tired. And
Yeah.
so we're kind of, I'm not going to say buckling down. It's not like a prison or anything, but
Right.
we're just we're being strategic, I guess,
Yeah.
with the way
Yeah.
that we are trying to stay on top of this behavior. So,
Yeah.
anything you want to add to that?
No, Laura, I think your 20-minute tirade's plenty.
Okay, thanks. Good.
Yeah.
All right, number 9 is celebrate endings.
Woo woo.
Yep. So we want to take time to celebrate the end of the school year. Think about your hard work. Think about what all, like we said, what all you've accomplished. So maybe you want to host a small gathering with your coworkers, or maybe you just want to treat yourself to a special reward, a trip to Burlington, maybe.
I
Um,
hear you.
yeah. Just find a way to mark the end of the year. And I think that is really important to bring that sense of closure because there are so many years that it just feels like the tasks never stop. Like there's not one end to the year and start to the next year. So I really love this tip.
Yeah, especially for our friends who are 12-month
Yeah.
employees and, to have that closure before you start and do something, to usher in some kind of ceremony, something for yourself, even if it's, just something that you're doing and for yourself. It doesn't have to be with everybody, or it could be. So, something to look forward to.
Yeah.
So, all these strategies that we talk about, and there's more, but these are just some that we wanted to share with you guys to conquer that heading toward. We're not at the end of the year, but we're heading toward the end of the year exhaustion that starts about now. So fight it, and you know it's coming, and you're not going to alleviate it completely. But by these things, just knowing, I think is huge. This is what it is.
Yeah. Very good. I feel prepared.
I feel better just talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is good, and it is a real thing. Don't absorb that stress from others, and maybe even help alleviate that stress by helping everybody understand what's happening.
Yeah. So let us know if you're starting to feel this March Madness now, and let us know where you are because I think that would be some good data for us to collect. Just
Yes.
just because I think that's interesting. What else do we want to talk about?
Oh, let's see. We have several speaking things coming up. We
We
have
do. We've gotten the
yeah.
green light to talk about some of
Oh,
those.
good, 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 good.
Yeah. So, Missouri, we are coming to you virtually. We are so excited. We talk about Missouri, and you are the show me state, and you are certainly showing the rest of the U.S. how to do school counseling because you all do it so well. So,
Absolutely.
we are so honored that you would use us maybe to say what not to do. I don't know, but we're so honored that you would consider using us. So we are coming to you guys virtually in April. So be checking out the Missouri School Counselor Association on that for the dates and times. April 2nd, I believe, in the morning. And the first 30 people to register for that event will receive our book for free. So we're also excited about that.
Yay.
And then we are going to be keynoting. I feel like there's a drum roll. Can you do a drum roll?
I feel like I'm Christmas vacation.
That's what I thought too. And I can't do the drum roll. I have to go. I can't do
But do
that.
you know that's a genetic thing? Did you know that?
Well, here's the thing. I used to could do it, and then I stopped.
Your tongue disease. Your tongue disease?
No, I just
Oh.
forgot how to do it. But when I
Yeah.
was younger, I could do it, and I can't do it anymore. So I don't
Maybe
know.
it's the tongue roll that's genetic.
The tongue roll is.
clearly
I can.
see why.
Okay.
I could clearly see why these people have asked us to keynote. Go ahead.
Exactly. But we are going to be keynoting in New Jersey. So, New Jersey, at your spring school counselor conference, we're going to be there live and in person, and we cannot wait.
Not wait.
That is April 19th. So, if you have not signed up for that yet, please, we want to meet you and we want to talk with you, and we cannot wait. Like, I'm just sitting here in so much excitement. Like, I don't even know what to say because I'm so excited.
I'm super excited. What else do we have?
Oh, goodness. We've got several things this
If
summer.
you don't tell me, I don't know. It's like
I know. But you've got your color-coded calendar. So
I have got my color-coded calendar, and I've got my color-coded markers.
We also have our school counseling course that we're going to be opening back up. We've got a lot of people on the waiting list, so I feel like it's going to be, I envision the Black Friday scenes from the 80s where people were fighting. That's how I envision people trying to get into our course when we actually open the doors.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
You just go right here and think that.
Cabbage Patch Doll is not anything compared to how much people want into this course.
What were the little stuffed animals that people would fight over?
Furbies? Tickle Me Elmos?
No, well, all of that. But these were the tie babies.
Oh, yeah, the Beanie Babies. Yeah, Beanie Babies.
The Beanie Baby.
That, no. The Princess Diana Beanie Baby has nothing on the Growing Your Program school counseling course.
We had the princess, we had that one, and we raffled it to raise money for a man to get a, like his front porch. He had a disability and he needed to get up for his wheelchair. One little Beanie Baby paid for that. And I'm like,
that is amazing.
So that's what we did with the Diana.
And now they're dog toys.
Now they're like worth $1.50.
Yeah. So we've got that going on, and that's coming up. We're super excited about what all we're going to be doing with that, but that will open later. We'll give you the dates on that. Our behavior detour caravan opened and closed just as quickly. The doors closed just as quickly as we opened them. So that was pretty incredible. And then of course our behavior conference was a huge success. We're getting emails daily.
Huge success. It's such a topic right now, and school counselors and educators all are figuring it out together, and it's a wonderful thing to watch all of us working together to help these children manage, and us teachers, everybody manage these behaviors. We have some TPT products on transitioning to the next grade level that are on TPT, and also test. We have several for test taking. So if you're so we've got several of those kinds of things that might be helpful for you.
Yeah.
I got nothing else to hawk. There's nothing else to hawk wares. I've got nothing else to hawk.
Well, you know what we're doing right now? We are doing exactly what we talked about doing. We are reliving our achievements through the year. We're talking about the things that have gone really well. And we're also setting goals. We're talking about what we have coming up. And so we are doing exactly what we just did this podcast on.
Oh my goodness.
It's like we're living by example.
I'm crying right now.
Okay. So I think that is about it. I'm going to put all these links in our show notes so you can sign up for the New Jersey conference. I don't care if you're from New Jersey. I don't know if they care.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't know what accent that was, but it was a good one. Yeah, I don't care.
I don't know if you have to be from New Jersey to attend it, but we'll make it easy for you New Jersey people to find the link. And then Missouri, same thing for you. I'll try to put the link in our show notes. I'll put the link to our waiting list for our school counseling course. And I don't think we're ready to talk about any of the other things we've got going on this summer just yet. But they're coming.
They're coming. It's a coming.
Yep. And like always, we absolutely love it whenever you guys send us the emails and tell us how much this podcast, how much you love it. We love that so much. If you don't care, it would mean so much if you would rate and review this podcast, because it does help other people find school counseling podcasts. It seems like more and more people are asking for school counseling podcast resources. So help them find us. That would mean a lot. And you can like us on Facebook. You can follow us on Instagram. And sometimes you can watch these on YouTube, depending on whether or not we have had a
Brush
good
our
hair
hair.
day. Or if we're feeling okay, which lately has not
It's
been the case.